Hey there, and welcome to Tucker's Test Kitchen. Actually, today it's a little bit of a weird episode. In a rare form for this show, we're actually going to try to solve one of humanity's problems. Not climate change, not racial inequality, not even the virus. We already tried that. It's s'mores. So picture this. You're outside, it's dark out, you're all huddled around a fire because there's a slight chill in the air. You're with your friends, you're all giggling at an off-color joke the weird kid made. Sure, he's a strange guy, but you love him despite his quirks, and you're not just inviting him because he'd feel left out otherwise. Right? And then the cool kid says, hey, does anybody want to make s'mores? And of course, everybody happily says yes, because who doesn't want to make s'mores? It's as essential to campfires as wood is. So he reaches into his bag. First thing he pulls out, graham crackers, right? The crunch and the honey flavor we all know and love. Then he pulls out marshmallows. If he's well off, he'll have gotten the big boy campfire sized marshmallows. And then he whips out his big brown brick of Hershey's chocolate. And nobody sighs a huge breath of disappointment like they should, because this is what ruins a s'more. Look, what I'm about to say might be a little controversial, but I don't care, it has to be said. Chocolate is the worst part of the s'more. Now, don't get me wrong, chocolate belongs in a s'more, but we aren't really giving it a chance to be the good guy here, you know? The fundamental problem is somewhat easy to see here. This boy, too damn thick. Hershey's chocolate being this thick leads to 3 problems. First, nobody ever takes the time to heat the chocolate up so it's gooey. Instead, they just slap the marshmallow on and go to town, so the chocolate is cold. That means, second, the chocolate is solid and rigid, meaning it pushes the marshmallow out the sides of the s'more, which is a shame because the marshmallow is arguably the best part. And finally, there's just so much chocolate. It overpowers everything in the sandwich. And if you were to say, I don't know, control the amount of chocolate in the sandwich by breaking off segments of the bar, then you end up with a structural mess, or an uneven mess, where you only get a crap ton of chocolate concentrated in one bite, and the rest is just this chocolateless, sad thing. It's current year, damn it. Why isn't this a solved problem? Why must we suffer with these subpar campfire s'mores? I say, no more. I am putting my engineering degree to good use. Sure, it's a software engineering degree, but now is not the time to split hairs. It's time to make s'mores that won't make us sad. We're going to try 2 separate things here. First, we're going to fix the chocolate thickness problem by modifying the graham cracker to have the chocolate on it. Straightforward approach that, you know, you can do at home with minimal effort. Second, we're going to take a more radicalized approach by replacing the chocolate and graham cracker entirely. So the first step here is to just melt some chocolate. I have some milk chocolate morsels here. It's going in that bowl, and I'm doing a little experimental thing here with white chocolate. I think that'll go well. So just follow the instructions on the thing to make it not solid anymore. All right, we're ready to go. After I change lenses. Okay, so the construction here is fairly straightforward. I've lined a baking sheet with saran wrap because I already said we're not trying to tackle the climate problem today. Basically, the idea here is we're going to coat these graham crackers with chocolate. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Why don't more people do this? Graham crackers are delicious. Now, let me tell you something. In the food store, these are under cookie, which I get, they're sweet, but crackers in the name, why aren't they with the crackers? A cracker complaining about crackers. I told you we weren't going to solve the race thing today either. So I'm just going to drizzle and level. We're just going to spread it out. So the plan for these is we're going to put them in the refrigerator to really solidify this chocolate, and they're going to be refrigerated all the way to the campsite so that when the time comes, it's thin enough that the hotness from the marshmallow will melt the chocolate a little bit, and it's also thin enough that even if it's not completely melted by the marshmallow, it's, you know, thin enough that it doesn't squish the marshmallow out. And these 4 guys are going to be white chocolified. Come on, get to the corner, get to the corner, get to the corner. And there you go. I don't want to tilt it anymore because they'll fall. But that's exactly what I wanted. I wish there were more. I guess I can make more. Guess I can make some more. Why hasn't someone beat me up yet? So the second approach we're going to be taking here by replacing both the graham crackers and the chocolate is we're going to make graham cracker cookies with a little bit of chocolate swirled in them. This is to basically make everything about the s'mores soft so that marshmallow still doesn't squish out. Now this has been, about a week of research and testing to get this recipe right because I couldn't find a graham cracker cookie recipe that didn't use graham crackers in them. I got pretty close. It still needs some refinement, but I ran out of time, so this is as close as we're going to come for now. I'll bet you someone out there with more baking genius than me can do better, and in fact I encourage you to. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do, preheat your oven to 350. Quarter cup each of regular granulated sugar and brown sugar. To that I'm going to add 2 large eggs, which lucky for me is all I have. That is perfect. Get this all nice and incorporated together. Take a nice 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a little bit of salt. To your wet mix, you're gonna add honey and vanilla, specifically 3 or 4 tablespoons of honey. I'm also gonna go ahead and add 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. Make sure wet mix is more or less homogeneous. To this, I'm gonna add like 1.25 cups of flour. I'm gonna do it a 1/4 cup at a time. Dump my chemistry experiment in as well. You also need butter. I forgot about butter. Did I write it down in the recipe? Yeah, I did. Full stick of butter. Yeah, I definitely goofed up and should have added the butter with the wet mix. There we go. The butter is just melted. I'm gonna leave as many of the milk solids in the pan as I can. I have a parchment lined pan. I'm gonna use the small one. I wanna make a couple without chocolate in it, and then we're gonna mix the chocolate in. Just kind of thunk it on there. Okay, now I have a bigger lined sheet for the rest of this. But first we're gonna add some chocolate. I'm just gonna swirl it in. I actually haven't tested it with the chocolate swirl yet. So I mean, big question mark. See how these react to the oven. And these are gonna go into the oven, I don't know, 12 minutes. Beautiful. So I'm happy that they didn't spread out as much as I thought. Yeah, the undersides are a little crisp, but that's okay. It means I didn't undercook them this time because I have a bad habit of doing that. Okay, so I may have overcooked the regular ones too. They actually cooked kind of faster than I expected, but these 5 actually turned out okay. Now this is a different build than what I'm used to because of the chocolate, and I also added a little bit more flour than I'm used to, but I think they'll be fine. Has a little bit of crunch, but enough give that it's not full graham cracker. In fact, I think this is more of a graham cracker than my previous iterations. Now let's do the s'more test. So I figured the best way to test this would be, over a controlled flame with, no, this is dumb. Why would no. S'mores are not meant to be tested in a laboratory setting. This isn't like, pizza cake or ravioli. We need an actual campfire. But I live in Chicago. Where am I gonna like get a campfire? Chicago, the park? No. Guess I'm going back to Appleton, here with Wesley. You remember Wesley, right? Oh, there's sewage. Right, that Wesley. So this is the regular old s'more. This is not with just Hershey's chocolate and a marshmallow.
Very good.
Okay. Any issues with it?
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, the graham crackers keep breaking up.
How's the chocolate ratio?
Okay, actually.
Really? Even that thick brick?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. So this is the chocolate graham cracker variety. Oh dear.
I suppose that's better. I don't know how much work this was to do, though.
Not a lot. This one was very easy.
Oh, okay.
Still doesn't really make it any neater, though. Huh.
What?
Now he's going for the cookie version.
Nothing like s'mores.
So taste-wise, like, it's just not s'more-like enough?
Doesn't taste like s'mores at all. I mostly taste the cinnamon and the marshmallow. There's no like graham cracker flavor in it. Even though the cookies themselves have it, which is really interesting. It's also leaking out all over me. I think it would be best smaller marshmallows and like half graham crackers, so they're not so long. I think that would work. And the chocolate coated ones.
You think those are?
Yeah, I think that was definitely the best one. It's easiest to make, so you just have to put the marshmallow in between the two.
Since my opinions were mostly the same as Wesley's, I made a supercut of me getting angry at these massive marshmallows.
Oh no. Oh no.
I think that these big marshmallows are dumb.
You getting it in your beard? Looks like you're getting it in your beard. After all that shit you gave me.
What, for not being able to grow a beard? These marshmallows suck, man. The chocolate's actually gooey and melted a little bit, which is the whole point. Unfortunately, these stupid big marshmallows won't get hot enough. The center is still solid.
Oh god, I'm sorry. This video is gonna be awful. Like my
Your
recording.
part or the whole thing? Because I'm thinking the whole thing at this point. So last night the marshmallows sucked, and so did the wind and the temperature. So we have another fire going, and we're going to use some regular-sized marshmallows. I thought big marshmallows were campfire marshmallows, but the regular old jet-puffed, marshmallows that you could fit in your mouth without looking weird. So we're going to do the same thing as yesterday, except we're not going to do the cookie stuff because that was horribly disappointing, and I don't want to relive that. Much better than last night. The chocolate still sucks, though. We're going to use the best solution. Bippity, boppity. Look at that easy construction. You don't have to mess around with the chocolate. It's still coming out the sides a little bit. I already see a little bit how the chocolate's already starting to come out in the marshmallow. This is better, though. The problem is that the chocolate's still overpowering. It's better, though, because the chocolate is now soft. And I can bite through it, no problem. You want to reduce the chocolate. How do you do that? Use just a regular graham cracker as the other side. So much better. Oh my god.
Keeps it from burning.
Yeah. How is it?
It's good. I think you're right, there's too much chocolate on both sides.
Compared to a regular s'more. What do you think?
Oh, it's definitely better.
I like how you're innovating the game too.
There's no way to be able to get the marshmallow to not squeeze out without the graham crackers being not crunchy. And if they're not crunchy, then what's the point?
But does having chocolate on one side help the ratio?
Definitely, yeah. I think that's like a really good amount of chocolate, actually.
So Wesley came up with another genius idea. In addition to the drill, he's just as into revolutionizing s'more game.
I'm not, though.
Are you gonna still do the? Oh my god! No, that actually came out pretty well. If it weren't so hard to make, I think that method would work. I want to try the white chocolate one, though. I forgot all about the white chocolate. It took a while to taste the white chocolate, but that's actually pretty good.
I think s'mores are just one of those things that you see on TV or in books, and they seem like a great idea. I don't know, someone came up with it at one point, but no idea why it's spread. Better off just roasting marshmallows and eating them, or just eating graham crackers. Just eat a box of Teddy Grahams.
Okay, so maybe s'mores aren't meant to be improved. Like, we got somewhere, but it wasn't as earth-shattering or groundbreaking as I thought it would be. The Teddy Graham solution was actually pretty good, because the chocolate was in the graham cracker, and that's why I tried to do with the cookies, but the cookies just sucked. The best method we came up with tonight, I think, was putting the chocolate on the graham crackers, but even that didn't solve, like, half the problems I was trying to solve with this whole thing. The chocolate was better. I especially like the white chocolate, but, it wasn't exceptional. I don't know. Science isn't ready yet. We don't have the technology. Good night, America. I wanted to walk out afraid.